Hey, I'm Mike, and before this video, I was fishless. Over the course of 3 months, with the support of the fishing community here in BC, I learned how to procure one of the healthiest wild protein sources available from some of the most pristine environments in the world. Come and join me on this wicked adventure as I go from fishless to filling freezers.
Hello, and welcome to the Wham Provides, where the food from plants and animals keeps us satisfied. We can grow it, find it, or catch it for dinner. Come and learn how to get it from a pro to beginner.
Hey guys, I'm Mike, and I suck at fishing. So I'm gonna make this video to be less sucky at fishing. Let's go. Okay.
Wait.
What?
That was obnoxious. From the horrendous grammar to the fact that you neglected to mention the very essence of this video, how to successfully catch multiple species of salmon.
It's the hat, isn't it?
No, it's you.
Yeah, if I'm gonna learn how to fish, I need a good fishing hat. That's better. Let's go.
Hey, I'm Mike. I'm a camera guy living on Vancouver Island who spends most of my time outside in BC's incredible natural spaces.
Most people assume that I know how to fish because I hunt, I forage, I garden, and I live on the west coast of Canada directly beside the ocean. I can't even blame them though, because I look like a guy who knows how to fish. But the truth is, I'm fishless. Don't look at me like that, with those fish-catching eyes. It's not like I haven't reeled in a hog or two in my day, but it's just recently I haven't been able to get one up. In. Ever since moving from Ontario to BC, it's like my old trusty rod just won't cut it anymore. My rod was fine back home. Now the guys from the shop are telling me, Mike, that's a trout rod. Mike, that's only rated to 10 pounds. Mike, this is a fish and tackle shop, not your personal therapy space. Super unprogressive of them. Screw it, I don't need them anyway, because my streak is about to change. Because I, my friends, have been cast on the next season of River Monsters. No, I haven't even seen that show. The reality of the situation is, my next door neighbor pitied me and thought that he would teach me his ways because my freezer was lacking fish. He's been fishing the local rivers here for like the last 10 years plus, and every single time he comes home, he's come home with his limit of fish since the beginning of the season. So I knocked on his door and I offered some deer meat. He came over one afternoon with his fishing setups to give me the lowdown on what I'd need. Okay, what do we got?
Float you can adjust. You put a half wrap on that pencil lead. You cut it to the size that you need for the speed of the water. I just use the small swivels. I usually put a bead in there. I run a 30-pound main line and 20-pound leader. I usually run a 3-4 foot leader. But you know knots, don't you?
Not really, man.
7 wraps through that last eye, and then back through that hole you just made.
At the top?
And back through that hole. Yeah, and then they twist onto each other.
Are you seeing this at the surface of the water?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and usually if you see your bobber go down, that's probably you're on a fish.
Okay. And you're watching this drag down, and then once it gets to the end of the line, reeling it back in, watching it drag down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're mimicking like a bug setup here, and the bugs are pretty active at first light?
Well, you look in the belly of a sockeye, and it's all plankton.
Okay. Even in the river?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, you're still at the tidal boundary.
Oh,
Still
okay.
eating plankton.
Okay.
They'll bite on beads too. A little bit of a
Like,
roe.
is that like trout eggs or like?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, like to mimic a trout egg.
I bought a higher end reel as per my neighbor's suggestion, as he's used this exact same make and model for many years without failure.
Over 10 years old,
Damn.
and it still works like a charm. But yeah, that's my setup, and that's all I take down to the river.
Turns out, fishing is not cheap. The setup ran me about $750. Having a set of chest waders is also a huge plus, as they allow you to navigate to different sections of the river and get closer to where you'd like to cast. I had a cheap set that I bought from Canadian Tire a few years ago kicking around, which lasted about 8 or 9 outings before a couple of leaks made their way in. I'd recommend spending a bit of money on a set that will last. Instead of buying a brand new set, I pivoted to a pair of Crocs, seeing as the river water was still pretty warm while I was fishing. Before I could head out, I needed to purchase a recreational freshwater fishing license and a non-tidal salmon conservation stamp from the provincial government. I also wanted the option to fish in the intertidal areas where the saltwater meets the freshwater, so I purchased a saltwater fishing license and salmon conservation stamp from the federal government. Together, these licenses and stamps ran me about $100. So if you were to replicate my setup exactly, it'd cost you about $1,000 total investment. But there is actually one more super essential thing you're going to need before you start fishing.
Canadians know what they want and what they know. And what they know is we know sports. Golden Glacial Showers Sport hydrates with the power of science, stamina, and more science. Because you can never have enough science or hydration. Golden Glacial Showers Sport. Science your thirst.
If a Paul brother can make a drink, then I can too. Limited quantities while supplies last. To catch these salmon, I found the most success in the morning just after first light, which meant a lot of early AM wake-up calls. Chinook and coho salmon start making their way into this river in late August, but the water is typically a little too low for them to make it up. After a couple of big rainfalls, you'll see a surge of salmon schools rushing up the river to capitalize on the higher water levels. I've learned that if you can time that with a high tide in the morning, boom, that's a recipe for success, my friend.
It took me a while to figure this out though. In my first few outings, I got pretty dang good at catching rocks.
I snagged and lost my setup on the first cast.
Fortunately, a few folks took pity on me and taught me how to use this setup properly, and by the third outing, I began actually catching some salmon. With river fishing being so accessible, I found myself perplexed as to why I hadn't made this a priority sooner.
The sunrise peeking over the mountains in the distance, the gentle flowing glacier water between my toes, the smell of morning dew on the new shoots of grass, and the sounds of starlings and finches chirping eagerly for their first meal. All of it had me absolutely enamored. Once things started to click, I was on a roll. Over the course of a few weeks, I learned where to go, when to go, what to use, and how to use it. With the fish coming in faster than we could eat them, I began vacuum sealing and freezing them so that we could eat them during the off-season. Between the sockeye, chinook, and coho, I must have caught like 25 salmon this summer.
Catching them was just part of the fun. Experimenting with them in the kitchen turned out to be just as exciting.
From Asian-inspired sesame sockeye bowls to pan-seared fillets alongside grilled garden veg, our bodies were fueled by local harvests. I've been living here on Vancouver Island in British Columbia on the west coast of Canada next to some of the most healthy salmon migrations in the world for 13 years. For a guy who prides himself on being able to subsist at least partially off of the land, it's remarkable that salmon fishing never made it into that strategy. I told myself that it was too much to learn. I reckon we tell ourselves some of these things because change and growth is difficult. Maybe I was afraid to admit it, but the fear of being bad at something got between me and my aspirations. The reality is, I picked up fishing in a matter of days and secured a source of protein that is substantially more obtainable and reliable than my current method of hunting is. By taking the time to learn something new, I actually saved myself time spent pursuing other, less efficient and reliable sources of wild meat. It's little reminders and lessons like these that keep my stoke for the outdoors burning at full throttle. Sure, I may think that I have my self-sufficiency dialed in now, but there's always a new skill to evolve, a new place to explore, and a new perspective to emerge. Or As the age-old aphorism would suggest, fuck around, find out. Until next time.
Wow, that was almost poetic, until you ruined it with the finish.
We call that edging viewer satisfaction, Janet. I'm in control of their pleasure. Nailed it. Nice. I just busted a butt bone. In case you're wondering, butt bone is the scientific term.